Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. Here, we're going to tell the story of the Qing Dynasty's Princess Hejing of the first rank, the third daughter of Emperor Qianlong. Her life can truly be described as a legend among Qing princesses. She was cherished beyond measure, held in the palm of her father's hand throughout her life. Many people may have heard stories about the princesses during the reign of Emperor Kangxi, and might think that being a daughter of the emperor wasn't anything special, after all. Quite a few of Kangxi's daughters led difficult lives and faced unfortunate fates. But things were completely different in the Qianlong era, especially for Princess Hejing. She was, quite literally, adored like royalty from heaven. So, why was Emperor Qianlong so strict with his sons, often expressing disappointment and frustration, yet so gentle and considerate with Princess Hejing? What could a sensitive and meticulous emperor do to care for his daughter in the most thoughtful ways? In this account, we'll delve into Princess Hejing's childhood, her marriage, and family life, giving you a glimpse into the blissful life of a born winner, and offering a rare look at the tender side of the Qing royal family. According to historical records, Princess Hejing was born in the 9th year of the Yongle reign, in 1731. Her lineage could be described as the highest of the high. Her grandfather was the supreme ruler of the Qing Dynasty at the time, Emperor Yongle. Her father, Yongle, later Emperor Qianlong, was the widely acknowledged crown prince and Yongle's fourth son. Her mother was Fucha, Yongle's first love and his principal consort. With such a prestigious background, Princess Hejing was born at the very peak of privilege. When she was 6 years old, Emperor Yongle passed away, and her father ascended the throne as Emperor Qianlong. Her mother, Fucha, was naturally made Empress. Not long after, young Hejing was officially granted the title of Princess Hejing, receiving her own formal rank. It's fair to say that her life began on a level so high, it left others in the dust. What made Princess Hejing truly special, however, was not just her lineage, but the unique aura that surrounded her. Firstly, her mother Fucha was Qianlong's first love, his white moonlight, and the two shared a deeply affectionate and devoted marriage. Secondly, Princess Hejing was the only one of their children to survive to adulthood. Fucha gave birth to 4 children, 2 sons and 2 daughters, but tragically, only Princess Hejing survived. The other 3 died young. This made her the sole living continuation of her parents' bloodline and the recipient of all their love and hopes. More importantly, Empress Fucha died young. Every time Emperor Qianlong missed his late wife, he would look at Princess Hejing, who resembled her mother, and be overwhelmed with emotion. Even in the 47th year of his reign, in 1782, when he was 72 years old and Princess Hejing was already 52, Qianlong still wrote in a poem, "You are the only child your mother left behind. My love for you will never fade." This poem not only expressed his deep affection for his daughter, but also his enduring grief for his late wife. While Empress Fucha was still alive, Princess Hejing was already the apple of Qianlong's eye. After Fucha's death, the princess became the emotional cornerstone of both her father and the entire Fucha clan. How powerful was her support system? Her father was the emperor, her maternal uncle was Fuheng, a key minister of the Qing court, her cousin was the famous General Mingrui, and her younger cousin was Fuchang'an. With a family background like that, anyone who dared offend Princess Hejing would surely think twice about the consequences. It's no exaggeration to say that she grew up in a world of luxury and love, truly surrounded by affection from all sides. However, even as a Qing dynasty princess, Princess Hejing had her own challenges. Due to the Qing tradition of Manchu-Mongol marriage alliances, most princesses were required to marry into Mongolian nobility once they came of age, often entering into arranged political marriages with unfamiliar Mongolian aristocrats. For the princesses, this kind of marriage meant leaving behind the familiar imperial palace, bidding farewell to their comfortable lifestyle, and heading to the distant steppes to adapt to a completely different environment and culture. For a princess who had been pampered and raised in luxury within the palace walls, such a life was undoubtedly a great challenge. What's more, Princess Hejing was the only surviving child of Emperor Qianlong and Empress Fucha. How could Qianlong bear to let his beloved daughter suffer such hardship? Yet Emperor Qianlong was, above all, a shrewd politician. He fully understood the vital role that Manchu-Mongol alliances played in solidifying Qing-Mongol relations. Especially since Princess Hejing was his first daughter to reach adulthood, her marriage had to serve political purposes. Her husband had to be chosen from among the Mongolian nobility. Faced with the conflict between upholding tradition and not wanting his daughter to marry far away, what could Qianlong do? After careful consideration, he came up with a brilliant plan. Let's call it the future son-in-law grooming plan. This plan had 3 main steps. Step 1, from among the Mongolian princes and noble families. Qianlong carefully selected a group of handsome, well-born young boys and brought them to Beijing to be personally raised and trained. Beginning in the 4th year of Qianlong's reign, 1739. He selected several young boys from Mongolian noble families and brought them into the palace. Step 2, these boys not only lived in the palace but also studied alongside the imperial princes, learning Confucian classics like the 4 books and 5 classics, as well as palace etiquette and lifestyle. Through this education, their habits and ways of thinking gradually aligned with those of the imperial family, allowing them to grow up in an environment similar to Princess Hejing's. Step 3, after several years of cultivation, Qianlong would then select the most outstanding candidate from among these noble-born, well-educated Mongolian boys, one who had both aristocratic blood and familiarity with court life, to become Princess Hejing's husband. In the end, Qianlong chose Seng Rinchen Baljer, Sibuting Baljer. He was a descendant of Manju Shili, a prince of the Korchan Mongols and a hereditary Darhan prince, of extremely noble birth and an illustrious family line. According to historical records and surviving portraits, Baljer was strikingly handsome in his youth, clear features, refined demeanor. In an era without beauty filters, his looks were already exceptional. More importantly, he was kind-hearted and sincere, and he admired Emperor Qianlong deeply. At the crucial moment, Baljer wholeheartedly accepted Qianlong's arrangements and agreed to remain in Beijing with Princess Hejing after marriage. This way, the princess wouldn't have to relocate to the Mongolian steppes and be separated from her parents. One day, Emperor Qianlong approached Baljer with a smile and asked, "Little Ba, how would you like to become my son-in-law?" Baljer, already overwhelmed with admiration for the emperor, was overjoyed at the thought of becoming his son-in-law. He immediately expressed his gratitude and accepted the offer without hesitation. Years later, while dining with Princess Hejing and Baljer, Qianlong composed a poem. In it, he reminisced about how he had raised Baljer from a young age, and praised him for being both knowledgeable and virtuous. Only then did he feel assured enough to entrust his daughter to him. The poem also revealed Qianlong's lingering sorrow over the loss of Empress Fucha. He wrote that although the family meal was warm and lively, his heart still ached when he thought of his late wife. This poem not only recorded Qianlong's satisfaction with his son-in-law, but also revealed the deep affection he had for his family. Next, let's take a closer look at Princess Hejing's married life, which marked the peak of her happiness. In the 12th year of Qianlong's reign, 1747, the 17-year-old Princess Hejing was officially married. As Emperor Qianlong's beloved daughter, her wedding could be described as one of the most extravagant in the history of Qing Dynasty princesses. Here, we'll examine her marriage residence, privileges, and dowry to see just how deeply Qianlong adored his daughter. First, the residence. When Princess Hejing was betrothed at age 15, Emperor Qianlong decided that she would remain in Beijing after marriage rather than be sent away to Mongolia. To that end, he appointed 3 heavyweight officials, Grand Counselor Nessen, her maternal uncle Fuheng, and the Vice Minister of Revenue Sanha, to search the capital for a suitable residence. How impressive was this team? It's like sending 2 state-level ministers and a deputy finance minister to buy a house and prepare the wedding residence for a princess, clearly a sign of sparing no expense or effort. In the end, they selected the former residence of Princess Yongle, daughter of Emperor Xuanji, and decided to greatly expand the estate on its original site. How large was the expansion? Let's look at the historical records. Nesson and his team reported that the original estate had 150 rooms. But many were worn down or collapsed. They proposed constructing 7 new buildings, 43 additional rooms, relocating and rebuilding 100 rooms, constructing 89 rooms with overhead covers, and acquiring 55 neighboring civilian houses. Altogether, this amounted to 239 rooms plus 55 adjoining properties. In modern terms, this was a massive estate, 227 meters in length, north-south, 173 meters wide, east-west, totaling nearly 40,000 square meters, making it a top-tier mansion in the heart of Beijing. After reviewing the plan, Qianlong simply said, 40,000 square meters? Excellent. Proceed as planned. Thus, even before marriage, Princess Hejing already owned a vast, luxurious estate. Second, the privileges. The Qing Dynasty had clear regulations on financial subsidies for princesses. If a princess married into the 8 banners or stayed in Beijing, the annual subsidy was 400 taels of silver. If she married into Mongolia, due to harsher living conditions, the subsidy was increased to 1,000 taels. Princess Hejing, having stayed in Beijing, was technically entitled to only 400 taels. But Qianlong declared, "My daughter spends more. Even if she stays in Beijing, give her 1,000 taels." Historical records confirm that Guruan princesses who married into Mongolia typically received this amount. According to scholars, Guruan princess was the formal title for daughters born to the Empress, i.e., legitimate imperial daughters. After Emperor Hong Taiji ascended the throne, he adopted Ming dynasty traditions in 1636, officially introducing the title princess. Daughters of the Empress were to be titled Guruan Gongzhu, Guruan princess, where Guruan in Manchu means realm, nation, and nobility. This was the highest rank for Qing princesses, usually reserved for daughters of the Empress. There were exceptions, like Princess Rongxian, daughter of Emperor Kangxi, and Princess Hexiao, daughter of Emperor Qianlong, both granted this rank due to special imperial favor. Under Qing law, Guruan princess and Hexua princess were used to differentiate between legitimate and secondary daughters. Gij was used for daughters of princes and nobles. Back to Princess Hejing's privileges. Even though she lived in Beijing, Princess Hejing always received the top-tier subsidy meant for distant marriages, throughout her entire life. But the most jaw-dropping part was her dowry. In ordinary families, dowries were meant to ensure a comfortable married life. But what kind of dowry did Emperor Qianlong prepare for Princess Hejing? According to archival records, 20,000 taels of silver, 19,888 taels worth of silk and goldware, plus ownership of a pawnshop valued at 25,000 taels, bringing the total to 64,888 taels of silver. What does this mean? It's roughly equivalent to 60 years' worth of a Guruan princess's remote marriage subsidy. In other words, at just 17 years old, Princess Hejing was gifted a 40,000 square meter luxury estate in prime Beijing real estate, and the lifetime equivalent of a royal salary as a wedding gift. This was true royal treatment. After marriage, Princess Hejing's quality of life not only didn't decline, it actually became even more luxurious. Her husband, Baljer, revered Emperor Qianlong immensely. After marrying his most beloved daughter, he treasured Princess Hejing, never allowing her to suffer in the slightest. The couple had both sons and daughters, and their life was filled with happiness. Baljer had a gentle personality and indulged Princess Hejing in everything. In both big and small matters, he catered to her, yielding to her in all things. Their household was lively and harmonious. Of course, no marriage is without a few hiccups. In the 14th year of Qianlong's reign, 1749, 2 years after their wedding, Baljer's father, the Mongolian prince Lobzang Gumyubu, became seriously ill, likely from a stroke, with symptoms like numbness on the right side and slurred speech. After Emperor Qianlong received the news, he immediately took 2 actions. First, he dispatched a number of imperial physicians to accompany Baljer on an urgent journey to Mongolia to treat his ailing father-in-law. Second, he summoned the 19-year-old Princess Hejing and said, "Pack your things, father will send a guard to escort you to Mongolia to visit your father-in-law." Keep in mind, at that time the journey from Beijing to Mongolia was made by horse-drawn carriage. The route was long, conditions were harsh, and travelers had to eat and sleep in the open. Even for members of the royal family, it could be incredibly exhausting. For instance, the 5th princess of Emperor Kangxi died on the journey from Beijing to Qingda due to acclimatization issues. So when Qianlong decided to send Princess Hejing to Mongolia, it was by no means a light or easy decision. Baljer, upon hearing the news, was both touched and concerned. He immediately wrote a memorial to express his gratitude for Qianlong's kindness, but also advised against the trip, stating that Princess Hejing had been raised in comfort and luxury and might not endure the hardship of such a journey. In response to Baljer's request, Emperor Qianlong firmly stood by his principles as a ruler. He replied, "Others may say the journey is too hard, but you, as her husband, must not. Your father is also Princess Hejing's father-in-law. Her visit is an act of filial piety, and you have no right to stop her." These words not only demonstrated Qianlong's emphasis on family ethics and Confucian values, but also his firm belief that no matter how powerful one might be, filial duty and family responsibility must never be neglected. Eventually, under Qianlong's meticulous arrangements, the 19-year-old Princess Hejing left Beijing for the first time, heading toward Mongolia with a grand entourage and security escort. Along the journey, she was accompanied by imperial household officials, eunuchs, palace maids, and imperial guards. All her food, clothing, and necessities were provided by the state. Local officials along the route were responsible for delivering fresh supplies. The staff carefully reported every detail about the princess's condition. Entries like, "Arrived at, location, on April 19th, the princess is in good health." Or, "Passed through farmland, the princess was in good spirits." Each report was personally reviewed by Emperor Qianlong, who would inscribe "Noted" on every one of them, to ensure his daughter's safety and well-being. Even the weather conditions and things the princess saw along the way had to be recorded in full detail, for fear of missing a single nuance. As this magnificent convoy crossed Mongolian territories and reached Baljer's family estate, one can imagine how grand and ceremonious the scene must have been. For Baljer's family, this visit was an immense honor. In Baljer's own words, it was utmost nobility, a blessing from heaven. 3 years later, when Baljer's father passed away, Princess Hejing once again accompanied her husband to Mongolia to observe the 100-day mourning period, thus fulfilling her duties as a dutiful daughter-in-law. It's also worth mentioning that Princess Hejing's mansion, built in the 12th year of Qianlong's reign, 1747, is located at number 7 Zhangzhizhong Road in Dongqing District, Beijing. Today it is known as the Hejing Princess Mansion Hotel, Hejingfu Hotel. This estate covers a vast area and is divided into central, eastern, and western sections. The western section, which includes ceremonial halls, is well preserved and features a rectangular courtyard layout, with 4 courtyards in succession and architectural elements characteristic of the late Qing period. In 1984, the mansion was designated as a Beijing Municipal Cultural Relic Protection Unit. And it remains an important site of Beijing's historical and cultural heritage. Princess Hejing lived a life of happiness and fulfillment. Passing away on August 15, 1792, in the 57th year of Qianlong's reign. At the age of 62. She was buried in the eastern suburbs of Beijing. While her clothing and memorial tomb, Iguanzhong, was placed near today's Gongshiling city in Jilin province. According to historical scholars, the story of Princess Hejing not only reflects Qianlong Emperor's profound love for his daughter, but also illustrates how a sovereign balanced his roles as both a ruler and a father. Whether it was carefully selecting a son-in-law, building a luxurious mansion, preparing an enormous dowry, or sending her to Mongolia to fulfill her filial duties, Emperor Qianlong's love for Princess Hejing was all-encompassing and meticulous. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.